Sure. I'll talk it out.
Yeah, let's just have a conversation.
Track 3.
Better not be fucking Dave Matthews Band.
Okay. Those of you who don't want to be a part of this can leave now.
Derek, please listen to me.
But if you choose to stay, which it seems like you guys are choosing...
Derek, please.
You understand and agree to the following terms and conditions.
Derek!
1.
Derek, this is the virus.
You hereby waive your right
Derek, please.
to your own personal bodily integrity.
This is not you.
2.
I'm a life...
Per the State versus Neville Reed, my colleague and I will not be held criminally liable for any felony or misdemeanor that you may be a victim of, including, but not limited to, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, disorderly conduct, destruction of property, mayhem, and first-degree murder. And 3, terms and conditions may change or be updated whenever the fuck I want! Consider yourselves notified.
What up, everyone? DJ Anubis here with you on the Metal Time Radio podcast with episode 4 of When I Raid Alone. And today I'm going to talk about 3 different topics. One we'll be getting to later about this streamer named Nadia, who's kind of like in a controversial thing over the last few months regarding cheating and Activision. Then Asmon will be watching a video with him, talk a little about the World of Warcraft patch 10.2. But first, I want to talk a little bit more about Diablo 4 and, of course, Path of Exile. So I'm going to continue our journey or discussions on which game is better, how they differ, is one better than the other. So I came across this YouTube video by this streamer named Rachel K for I guess her segment's called Tavern Talk. And when I was watching it, I thought that she had a lot of great points. I never got around to finishing it, but I thought, wow, you know, she's bringing a pretty cool perspective on it. She works for one of the gaming companies, I can't remember which. And so, you know, she talks a little bit about that and how she has friends in other gaming communities and gaming companies and stuff like that. So she addresses a lot of the stuff that's like hate gets thrown her way because she might say something about pro or negative about this game versus the other and stuff like that. So I think I couldn't find like a wiki page on her or anything, so I don't know like a whole lot about her. I think she did do some modeling on Instagram or something too. So, but it's not like it really matters at this point. But she clearly has you know, interest in gaming and stuff. So anyway, I thought it was cool. I thought it was a great perspective on everything. And so we're gonna watch her video and then kind of comment throughout. It's about 15 minutes on this one. So let's give this a whirl here and see what she's got to say.
So here is the big question that I have been getting asked repeatedly. And that question is Path of Exile or Diablo 4? Which one is better? There must be one must be better. We must choose one game and hate the other game.
Yeah, already I agree with her here because I've still seen videos out there now where it's okay for everyone just to shit on Diablo 4 all the time. And it's like they kind of overlook what I feel like are flaws in Path of Exile, depending on who the gamer is. As I talked about in my last episode, I'm a casual player. So for me, it's almost about speed versus the long game, even though I will eventually go back to Path of Exile unless I find some other game that's just more interesting. I'm not afraid to put it out there, man. I think it's kind of overblown with the Path of Exile stuff. Like I do think it's a nice game. I'm not going to say it's like better or worse than Diablo 4 because their issues are different. To me, Path of Exile is far too complicated for a game that really needs to be that way. Like I know some people enjoy that part of it, but I think it's not really necessary to have it quite that complicated. And I know DM talked about how you don't really need to be overwhelmed by it, but the reality is you're automatically overwhelmed by it from the get-go. Like you're just automatically overwhelmed by it. And then, as I pointed out in the last video, you still have to buy stash tabs, folks. Yeah, you no one wants to talk about that part. You can't just start gathering up a bunch of shit and then selling it and trading it off because you still need to have stash tabs, and you don't have them in Path of Exile. You have to buy them. And I saw something recently where DM said he spent like $600 on Path of Exile. Dude, he says it's worth it, but $600? Maybe he's exaggerating his number. I don't know, but $600 fucking dollars? No. No. Fuck that. I'm not paying that. For all the whining about Diablo 4 should have had more stash tabs initially for $80, you're gonna fucking complain now that you're paying $600, which probably includes a lot of other things along with the stash tabs for that fucking game? No. Fuck no. My opinion, you know, I'm no disrespect to DM at all, but I'm not paying that. Fuck that shit. But both games are different with the different issues they have. I feel like I saw one guy was talking about today. I didn't bring up his video, but you know, he's right about one thing. Like Diablo 4 is more streamlined. It's nicer. The graphics are nicer. As I talked about again in my last video, I don't need like 500 different skills. If I pick a character, I only need my skills for that character. So in Path of Exile, if I don't need to have like my barbarian using a wand or a bow. It's not what he's meant to be using. So even though the possibility is there for any character in Path of Exile to go up their paragon tree or skill tree any which way they want, it's useless. It's useless. Like I'm not here to have my barbarian be a fucking wizard. If I want to play a witch, I'll play a witch. If I want to play a sorcerer, I'll play a sorcerer, and so on and so on. I don't need my skill tree to be complicated. And really, Diablo 4 skill tree is not that bad. It's only bad because Blizzard hasn't like fixed it to a point where you should be able to take any build you have to get to the end game. They haven't done that. So yes, from that point of view, I understand the complaints and the whining and that. So I still have my issues with it. I still play Diablo 4. Maybe even it's just like an hour or two a day. Just because one, time, but two, the grind sucks. Like I'm still having issues with the grind. I'll probably play season 2. I'm just gonna play a sorcerer because right now, even on my Eternal Realm, my sorcerer does the best, like in terms of just damage and like things that I like about the play. And I finally got a build that I really like. She does the highest damage. Of course, she's at 79, so she's my highest character. But just looking over, like the Druid and Barbarian are still struggling. They're not very good in terms of builds, like the builds I like. So it's just a matter of whether or not Blizzard ends up fixing that shit or not. I don't know. I'm kind of burned out on Diablo 3, so I probably won't go back to that at all, even with the season 29 stuff. But anyway, let's get back to her and her point of view.
I played Diablo 4 for about 2+ months since its launch. I have only played Path of Exile for 5 days. So mind you, my opinions are based off of the experience I've had thus far with both games. There is this culture on Twitch and on Steam reviews of, in my opinion, being a little bit too harsh. Now, y'all might disagree with me, but I feel like, I don't know. I understand why people are so harsh on a video game. Why? Because they've waited years for this game. They've paid a lot of money for this game, and they've had expectations set for this game, right? So when those expectations aren't met and they've paid all this money and they put time into something, they get upset.
True. But as I stated before, it's amazing to me that like supposedly Path of Exile was like this great mastery of a game, yet it took 10 years for people to actually notice it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if a game is so great, why weren't a lot of these guys like Asmon and, well, Asmon was playing it, but like, you know, Hog, he just got into it. DM just got into it. It's like, nobody fucking knew about this shit if it was that great. Now everyone's like, yeah, man, you should glad you're on the bandwagon. Yahoo! Like, yeah, dude, where were you like months ago, years ago, talking about this? Nobody was talking about this shit, dude. Nobody fucking knew anything about Path of Exile. Because no one cared. So now it's just because it's easy to pick on Diablo 4 and the issues that Blizzard has. It's easier just to say, I told you so. I told you so. Yeah. Okay.
But on the other hand, I'm quite a laid back person. I don't expect any game to come out and be perfect. So when a game does come out and is perfect, it blows my mind. And I always try to manage my expectations with game launches. There's been a lot of rough launches in the past few years. And I feel like this year has had a lot of crazy, smooth launches. Baldur's Gate 3, mind-blowing. Hogwarts, flawless. Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, flawless. So many flawless launches. Diablo launched, and in my opinion, it was a great launch. I was deeply addicted. The game was blowing me away. The cinematics, people don't care about cinematics.
Yeah, the thing that I'll stand by, and I know that a lot of the major streamers do too, is like the campaign for Diablo 4 is great. 1 through 50 actually is pretty good leveling wise. Like, and of course, you're on level tier 1 or tier 2, depending on where you're at. But my issues have always been like, if I'm on tier 1, where it's kind of an easier time with the creatures, like, I think there should still be some benefits to getting like sacreds and ancestrals, even if they're just lowered down an item level to that respective tier. The mistake I think Blizzard made was forcing players to have to move up to tier 3 or tier 4 to even get any of those type of gear. You can still get legendaries in tier 1 and 2, but you know, if unless your plan is just to play to 50, okay, you know, that's one way to look at it, especially if it's such a grind beyond that. But the reality is, like, uniques, that's all in the tier 3 and tier 4. You can't get any of those in the tier 1 or 2, I believe. I don't, at least I've never seen one drop. And then of course, just, you know, a lot of the complaints about the end game, like, you know, you got Uber Lilith, but after that, you know. But, you know, I don't know, like, I've told people this before. I'm probably level 20 or something like that in Path of Exile. It's weird for me because I'll go into Path of Exile, I'll log in, start playing, hoping to, you know, really get into it, and then like I die like so simply and easily that I'm like, okay, well, I can go do Diablo 4 for a couple hours and maybe die a couple times, but if I go into Path of Exile, I'm dying like almost every 5 minutes. So I don't make any real progress. And then, of course, you're going to have the elitists come out and say, well, dude, you're just doing your build wrong. Well, I mean, perhaps, but when you have something that's complicated anyway, you know, everyone bitches about all the itemization on Diablo 4 with the items, but you look at the gems that you're supposed to use in Path of Exile, and like, it's nothing but words and more words. Like, I mean, it's the same problem, but again, nobody who criticizes Diablo 4 wants to talk about this. They don't want to address this fact about Path of Exile because they hate Diablo 4 so much that they just can't see through the over the trees, you know, the forest from the trees. So, you know, I know it sounds like I'm trying to defend Diablo 4 and Blizzard here when I'm not, because I still have my issues with it, but I agree with her that like they really can't be compared in the sense that both games are designed differently. One was designed 10 years ago. It just happened to last this long, as far as like, you know, keeping some people interested and gaining new people now. You know, all the problems that Diablo 3 had, it still had people. They dropped off, obviously, because of the early rough start, which might happen here with Diablo 4. We've seen people drop off. But, you know, I think in the end, Diablo 4 is more of a game that's more built for me than Path of Exile, just because I work for a living. I have a day job. I'm not like these gamer streamers where they can spend hours upon hours playing games, like over 14 hours or whatever a day. You know what I mean? It's their job. Like, I get it. These guys, as good as they are, it's their job to play games and evaluate them and criticism and whatever. For me, it's for fun, just for me to just kind of like when I do this show, to talk about the gaming community, about the games that I like or don't like, the criticisms I may have or don't have against them. But Diablo 3 or Diablo 4 is really a game that I can just jump on for an hour or two, get some things accomplished. I might go up a level or not if I feel like dealing with the grind, and just waiting for season 2, and then hoping that going forward, Blizzard still finds ways to fix it like they fixed Diablo 3. Now, some people still hate Diablo 3, even with all the fixes, but I thought Reaper Souls is great. I really enjoyed that. You know, I get the whole idea about the Paragon being a little bit too high on that one. I think the Paragon board with Diablo 4 is a better made and sculpted in terms of what you can do. You know, I use guides as like a leading tool, but I don't follow them to the T. I kind of adjust and tweak things to my own liking when it comes to my characters. And that's why I'm hoping that going forward that Blizzard pays attention to that and starts making things where different builds can get you to the same end game. And since they, force you to go into tier 3 and 4, they're going to have to do something because it's too much of a grind. People aren't going to hang around for another 5 or 6 years for you to get your shit together. You got to start doing something now.
Often in ARPGs, and a lot of people don't care, but I thought they were insane. I got actual goosebumps when I was watching them. The pacing in Diablo, you're progressing quite quickly. I personally love to do all the side quests. I know that a lot of people hate them and they find them tedious. The only thing I found quite tedious with the Altars of Lilith, I did not care to do that. That was kind of like a chore. But Strongholds, I loved. Once you get past tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, things start to slow down quite a bit. There is no end game in Diablo except for smashing your head against the wall trying to fight Uber Lilith, aka Echo of Lilith.
I still haven't got there yet, by the way.
Nightmare Dungeons endlessly with my clan. Yeah, my clan. What is it? A clan? Guild?
It's clan.
I don't know. Yeah. With my clan, crew, guild, team, whatever. I love it. I could do that endlessly. But
that's one thing I did notice. It's been mentioned before. I can't remember by who. It's too bad in Diablo 4 since you were able to get more experience by working with others. So like the Legion events, world bosses, dungeons, if you group together with your clan or just people you know. It's too bad that, and I'd probably appreciate the grind a little more if I could queue up like in a dungeon raid like I can in World of Warcraft and like go and get with people, and that way your experience is jumping up. So if you're able to do something like that, because sure, I have my own clan that I made, but it's only like a couple of people. I don't have a lot of online friends that play Diablo 4. So if you were able to team up with people by queuing into a raid or a dungeon, that helps because then it's pulling people who you may not know anyway. And in a way, it allows you to kind of meet people if you're looking to meet friends and stuff like that online. Like I think that would be a good system for Blizzard to implement into Diablo 4, because if you're trying to push co-opt, leveling experiences and stuff like that, and people getting to know each other, if that's your in-game goal, then you need to make it to where they can do that without having to be in a particular clan or, know a bunch of people. Like it's tough to do that. And especially when you're limited with time. So if I'm already working my day job and then doing my YouTube videos for various stuff that we do on our channel, when I want to log in for an hour or two, I want to be able to just get in and get out, right? So if I can make a couple runs, level up quickly, that would help like immensely.
There is no end game, and your progression does slow down, and you're not rewarded for the rewards the rewards lack for your work in the game, right? But overall, I'm obsessed with Diablo. I could play it endlessly. No, I couldn't play it endlessly because I didn't play.
Yeah, the only thing about the rewards that I'm still having trouble with and that I'm really angry about is I'm getting unique drops. So like my sorceress, I finally got the Oculus wand to drop, right? Problem is it's not better than my lower item level, which gives me far more attack power, which I still disagree with anybody who tells me attack power doesn't matter as much, because it does. Every character I have, the more attack power you have, the more difference it makes on how you kill things. my sorceress is doing almost a little over 6,000 attack power. When I put the wand on, despite the fact that it gives me a teleport, which is a nice bonus, it drops my attack power to 5,400. So then, like, when I go to do these nightmare dungeons, I'm getting my ass kicked because I'm not doing enough damage. Like, it's just ridiculous. So I disagree heartily with anyone who tells me that attack power does not matter in Diablo 4. Like, you're full of shit. Sorry, you are.
Season 1 of Diablo comes around. We voiced our concerns and our preferences for things to be worked on. Gem tabs, more tabs. We don't have enough inventory space. We need end game content. There's a lot of things. Leveling speeds constantly had issues. Unique drops, uber rare unique drops, drop rate issues. We have issues. I wanted more focus on the clan UI. I wanted loadouts.
Yeah, that's a big
We
one
wanted
too.
loadouts.
So every time you create like
Diablo
a build,
wanted us to.
if you're creating a build that works, but then you're testing other builds and then you forget what you put in the first one, like that's a problem. I try to bookmark on my browser like certain builds and stuff, but then like, you know, you have to go back, you have to spend all the resource and gold to like reset everything. Paragon points should have like an automatic all refund. Like that's another problem because you have to back out everything. It takes fucking forever. So right now I find builds that are working for me, but I'm always looking to tweak things if necessary. But yeah, it just loadouts would be nice.
With some of the patches that Diablo did, they wanted us to try out new builds, but they didn't give us the tools to try out new builds easily, i.e. loadouts and respecting and all that. But Diablo has just launched, and you might say, yes, it should have launched with endgame content, which I agree, it should have. There's no endgame, and there's things it needs to work on. But I think I had a great launch. Now here's the thing that I say to people who watch my streams on Twitch. And if you don't watch my streams on Twitch, you should come join me. Twitch.tv/Rachel K, self-plug. So for everybody who comes to watch my streams on Twitch, I try to make it clear that I personally think that if you're watching Twitch streams, if you're on Reddit forums for gaming, if you are watching gaming tutorials on YouTube and build guides and min-maxing, you're not the majority. So all of us that are, I call myself like a hardcore casual gamer. All of us from hardcore casuals to hardcore gamers are not the majority of the gamers. The majority of the gamers is someone who wants to pick up the game on their PlayStation and maybe play for 30 minutes to an hour, and then maybe in a week or two, they're going to pick it up again. Now, for the majority of gamers, Diablo is perfect. They're not even, most people they have plenty of time. It's not too deep.
I don't know if a majority of them find it good. Like, the thing is, like, you look at the stats of how much has dropped off since then, and the backpedaling that the Blizzard devs are doing, and you know all the reworking. Asmongold has showed like the graphs of Diablo 4 like sinking heavily. Like that's not a good sign. Like, and that tells you that in some ways the devs are a bit tone deaf when they're not listening to the feedback. Because even going into, what was it, season 1, or like they were saying about season 2, like you get an extra tab. Like, I don't know how or why, but I know that the devs that were working on D4 didn't work on D3. But the reality is they have the rights to that game, so it's their game. So how it is, you can't like look at the specs of how you built Diablo 3 towards the end, or even look at Diablo 1 or 2 and how they have stash tabs that are enough for everybody, how you don't look at that and say, well, we should just automatically add it in. You're supposed to take all your positives from your previous games, throw them into your new game, and then add stuff. That's really what it's about. Like, there's no reason for you to revert back to old bad habits, is what the devs have done at Blizzard. And we can argue the semantics about how much of it is based off of pay, like pay to win or whatever. And here's something I got to clear about myself. Despite being a fan of D4, like some of the games that I like, I have not paid for any cosmetics. I have not paid for anything extra, and I won't pay for stash tabs. Like, I won't do that for Path of Exile, which is one reason why I haven't really gone back to Path of Exile. I'm not paying for extra bullshit that should already be there. If you're going to complain about one game not having this item and yet say nothing about the other one, and then you're paying for it, you ain't got no room to complain about shit. I don't care who the fuck you are. You don't have any room to complain. So I have not paid for any of the extra shit that maybe Blizzard is trying to get people to pay for. I see it pop up in the shop all the time. Some of it's cool looking. I'm just not going to do it. Like, you're not going to sucker me, Blizzard. You're not going to do that. You do enough of that in World of Warcraft. I'm not doing it here. Of course, they've kind of fixed that a little bit in World of Warcraft. We'll maybe talk about that in the next segment, but let's get back to her because I'm trying to get through this one. We're running longer than I thought. So let's get back.
They can pick up the game, they can play it, they can run around, do a few dungeons, and put it down and continue on with their life. That is who I think Diablo is for. It's the ARPG for the masses. Now, I do think it's still my other comments still stand. They still need the end game and they still need to fix all the problems. But that's what I think about Diablo. It's the RPG for the everyone, everywhere masses. Now, season 1 came along and I was just not obsessed with it, as most of us from my community, I feel like we were not so into it.
The only thing I really got out of season 1 playing my Necromancer was, again, the leveling was fine. I really breezed through it, probably in a couple weeks of times that I had allowed to play the game to get to level 50, 51. There was cool cosmetics. I got duped like a lot of people did by pushing that fucking, what was it, the pass or whatever, game pass. Like I hit that by mistake, but ended up using it. But the cosmetics and stuff that I got throughout the season was cool. Like, there's some cool shit. Like, there's an axe that you can get that's really cool looking from my druid. I don't know what's going to be offered in season 2. I'm not paying for Game Pass on that. So whatever I get out of that, great. But I'll check it out. Like, I mean, like I said, I enjoyed Diablo 3 towards the end. There's things about Diablo 4 I do like. And I think this is important. I saw Asmon again talking about this the other day. I'm agreeing with him about this. You want Diablo 4 to succeed. You do. If you're a gamer or a gaming community, you want a game to succeed if you really enjoy the legacy of the game, or just that you had some fun with the game. Because everyone that I've ever heard, whether it's Asmon, Hog, DM, or whatever, they enjoyed the game to a certain point, and then they just got tired of it. And that's for a lot of us. Like, even for the casuals like myself, 1 to 50, dude, not really any problems, dude. It's fun. I should have not skipped the campaign on my other character because I really enjoyed that aspect of it. So going forward, anything that's released expansion wise with Diablo 4, I'm not gonna skip anything. Like, I think I'm just gonna play through it because the plot and campaign for Diablo 4 is amazing. It's a great thing. The cinematics are awesome. Story's good. And it was fun. Like, they need, again, there's some changes with the world bosses that it gets kind of boring with them. Like, they don't really drop as many good things anymore. I think if they're not going to drop any Ubers or anything, they need to be dropping like massive experience, because even if you're with a bunch of people, you're just wasting time. Like, it still takes you a good, depending on how fast you burn it down, it still takes you at least an average of 10 minutes to kill the fucking thing. So, and they need newer ones. Like, they only have like 3 or 4 that show up, and it's the same fight. So, yeah, there's some work to be done.
Just adding more issues about inventory space and the heart mechanic thing. It was okay. It was fine. I wasn't really bothered to regrind the whole thing again, just for that season 1 mechanic. I'm looking forward to season 2. I hope that they make changes.
I don't think I even
mind you,
used
this
the
is still a
mulligan
new
hearts
game.
that much.
Then I went off and played Baldur's Gate for a bit, and then I thought, you know what? I'm gonna try out Path of Exile. Now, Path of Exile is a game that's been out for 10 years, and it's had 10 years to add content and mechanics and fix things and add all the things that you would want in an ARPG. Path of Exile.
That's a good point. For those who've been playing Path of Exile for a long time, if you could drop some comments in my comment section to let me know if you're someone who's played from the beginning, and was there issues with the game, or is it basically the same as it was when it was came out 10 years ago? Like, how much difference of work have they done with it, in your opinion?
It was insane. I'm now addicted to Path of Exile, but I'm putting my addiction on hold because Starfield comes out tomorrow. I don't know when this is going to post, but at this time, this is the day before Starfield's launching, and I'm going to play Starfield. But once I've had my fill of Starfield, I am jumping straight back into Path of Exile. I've been playing Path of Exile for 5 days, and my mind has already been clawed in by this game. It's hooked. This game, but I was also addicted to Diablo, so I also have a very addictive personality. But still, I won't play a game that I don't like. And I started playing Path of Exile. And for new people playing Path of Exile, and actually, even for everybody in my stream who's a 5,000 hours plus Andy, they're like, buckle up. It's complicated, but it's fun. That seems like the sentiment. They're like, it's deep.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's my issue. It's just too complicated. Like I said, I have ADD. I can't be wasting time like trying to figure out mathematically. You see all the numbers behind me and going like trying to rework how this shit's supposed to work. If that makes me simple, that makes me simple. But I like stuff that's more straightforward and a little bit easier to comprehend while playing. It's not that I didn't enjoy some of the aspects of Path of Exile, but I don't see that being a game I'm going to play a lot. So even if I go back to it, it's going to be because I'm incredibly bored.
And it's complicated, but you'll love it. So I'm on Act 6 right now. Pushing through Act 1 and 2 was a drag.
That's what DM
but I
said.
did it anyways. I felt like it was really slow. I'm only on Act 6. Everyone says the game only starts after Act 10 when you finish it, and that's a tutorial done, and you really get to get into the maps and stuff. I don't even know what that is yet, but basically I think that's like the dungeons. So Path of Exile, let's just keep going with PoE for now so I don't have to say it every time. PoE has the opposite pacing to Diablo. It starts off real slow, and it's so deep with mechanics and trees and in-game mini games, and there's just so much content, like 10 plus years of content, that it's a lot for a new player to grasp. So they like slowly introduce you to a little bit of a mechanic here and there throughout this 10-act tutorial, which is what I'm assuming because I'm only on Act 6. But my mind is blown with how deep this game is. And as someone who plays games all day, every day for a living, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to dive into the depths of the abyss and give my life to a video game and just sink hours into discovering everything it has to offer. And that's what this game has. So I used this analogy on my stream the other day. But before I share that with you, when I said earlier that Diablo is the ARPG for the masses and for the everyone. Path of Exile is not for the masses and not for everyone. I can tell you now that someone who's just a casual gamer is not going to put the time in to figure out is not going to figure out the depth of this game.
Yeah.
You have to really want to get to learn this game and play it and have time to play it.
Yep. Yeah.
Maybe
Sorry,
I'm wrong.
I don't do it for a
always
living.
my opinion, but this is just what I think.
She's right. She's
Path of
right.
Exile seems if you're looking for an ARPG and you're a little bit more serious and you're a little bit more of a hardcore gamer or a casual hardcore gamer, and you're looking for depth, then Path of Exile, you'll love Path of Exile. So this is the analogy that I shared on my stream. And I'm going to share it with you now. And I was thinking about it and I was like, it's so true. Because I stand by it. And maybe you can prove me wrong in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys think about my opinions in the comments on both games, on what you think, on if there even has to be a better one. But here is the analogy. Diablo is Apple, MacBook, think of it like that. Path of Exile is PC. And what I mean by that is they're both great. I have both a MacBook and a PC. I like them both for different purposes. The masses don't want a PC. They want a MacBook. They want to open it. They want it to be shallow. They want it to be pretty and they want it to work good. And
I can kind of see that analogy, but then at the same time, if we're thinking in terms of PC and all the fucking updates you have to do, all the fucking shit that goes wrong with PC compared to Apple. I don't use Apple personally, but everyone I've ever known that's had one says they don't have like the glitchiness and the issues that PCs have, Windows, etc. So in some ways, PC could represent Diablo 4 because of all the updates you need. Like, dude, my computers need updates every other day. Not mentioning what Blizzard need to do to their own fucking game since it's got launched like 4 months ago. So I'll let her continue.
All the great things that a Mac has to offer. Some people, then there's the minority who want more. They want to customize everything and they want to go deeper and they want all the things. That's the PC people. That's the PoE people. The PoE is the PC and Diablo 4 is the MacBook. And one doesn't have to be better than the other. They both have a purpose and a place. And I personally like them both. And I will not be choosing my favorite because I enjoy playing Diablo 4 and I'm enjoying playing Path of Exile. And I love my MacBook. And
boom. And that's really it right there. That's really it. You know, she makes such great points because why it is people feel like they have to choose one or the other. It becomes this like big war, right? So now, you know, it's just almost like cliche for people now to like shit on Diablo 4 and whereas before when it first came out it was more like honest criticisms. Now it's like, oh, it's just fun. We're just gonna blast fucking Blizzard and Diablo 4 and anybody who likes it. Whereas, you know, you can like both things, really. They both offer different things, both as she said, offer different things in terms of like playability, how they approach the games and so on. Yeah, I thought she did a good job with that, for sure. All right, let's jump into the World of Warcraft Dragonflight patch 10.2. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, although I have a video from Asmongold talking a little bit about it because he's the guy in the know for World of Warcraft, as far as like just, you know, he's been into it for a long time. I've been into it a long time, but not near as in depth as he is. So Let's take a look first to see what it is they added. So it says Dragonflight instituted a new upgrade system for gear in World of Warcraft, and the upcoming patch tweaks to the system. Those who do the highest level of group content may find their upgrade progress a little slower once Guardians of the Dream releases, which I think has already come out. I know that recently, speaking of Blizzard, like there's been a drop off in Dragonflight too, which is kind of funny because when I log in every so often in World of Warcraft, because I haven't been playing it in a while, I get these like gifts in my mailbox from Blizzard, like, "Hey, we got this for you," and it's like a bunch of new gear or cosmetics or some shit that I got for all my characters, and it's just funny. And then you got a new, new patch. It's like mini expansions almost. They got little new raids and shit like that you can do and shit like that. But apparently something to do with if you play Dragonflight, you know about the fragments and crests. So you would gather fragments, create crests, and then you can upgrade armor. And now they're going to be swapping that out, taking out the fragments altogether and using just crests, but then they're increasing. Whereas I think it was like 4 or 5 crests you needed to upgrade armor. Now you need like 15. So I don't know. It didn't really make things easier, other than the fact that you don't have to like convert shit over to another. You just need to collect them. So, but depending on how often they drop, how many, etc. I mean, technically speaking, if they drop as well as they do with the fragments during those, I don't even know the fucking dragon's name, the big dragon that shows up every once in a while right now in Dragonflight, and everyone kind of goes there and kills things around it before it arrives, and they get like the fragment pieces, and then they go to each area and get like a scroll or whatever to create the crest and whatnot. If it drops as frequent as the fragments in, then you're probably in good shape. If it doesn't, then it's another grind that you have to do that no one really enjoys except for the super diehards. But it also changes some things, I think, with PvP, which I don't really play. But it says both the hero and myth upgrade tracks will be extending their length by 1, reaching 6 and 4 respectively. This will allow players to eke out a little more power for hero and myth items. It's very much a work in progress. I mean, it did drop from 10 to 6, meaning you won't be able to collect more than 60 crests of each type each week. So again, you're probably still there with like a bit of a grind. But let's dive into what Asmon has to say on this.
There's a new Dragonflight patch coming out. I'm probably going to go and play. I'm going to play WoW again sometime soon. I'm kind of feeling like it's about time to come back to the game. Warcraft devs, give a first look at Guardians.
I wonder, though, if him coming back to World of Warcraft, because recently one of the Blizzard devs, like, or president or something, called him out for not being able to finish a raid. Which, Asmon, no one needs to really challenge Asmon's dedication to World of Warcraft nor to raids. Like, if you ever watch any of his streams, you understand why sometimes he can't finish. It's more than just him. It's teamwork. It's about having the right players doing the right stuff. He constantly has to stop occasionally to ask people in the raid party like why they're doing certain things or not doing certain things. So, but this president, I guess, gets kind of fed up with Asmon just being honest and real with how he feels about the game and where it's going. So they decided to call him out on it. So it's kind of funny that all of a sudden now Asmon is like ready to go back to WoW.
Of the Dream. Here we go. Let's take a look at it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to WoWcast. Today, we're going to talk about our next major content update, Guardians of the Dream. And I have 2 special guests here with me today. Please introduce yourselves.
Hi, my name is Taylor Sanders. I'm an encounter designer on the World of Warcraft team.
And I'm Ann Stickney. I'm a senior narrative designer on the World of Warcraft team.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. What is coming with Guardians of the Dream?
Yeah, so Guardians of the Dream is a huge content update. We have a new outdoor zone, the Emerald Dream itself, right, that we're going to be traveling to. We have a new raid.
Okay.
We have new public events within the outdoor zone itself. And then also Season 3 will be launching as well.
So we
It
just
seems like just basically another patch, but all right.
finished up Fractures in Time. Can you tell us what's next? What are we going to expect in this major content update?
What else?
Well, with Fractures in Time, we kind of wrapped up the story of the Bronze Dragonflight, and we also saw Iridikron take off for parts unknown. One person that we haven't seen since Zeralet Caverns is Farok. We get to catch up with him here. More importantly, what's going on is that Amirdrasil, that tree.
Well, he wants to burn down the fucking tree because he's an asshole, right? Yeah, he's corrupt. Oh, I forgot he's fucking corrupted. Oh, man. Why can't he just be an asshole? That was the best thing about Denathrius, is he was just a dick. He was just a self-obsessed dickhead.
The seed that
Same with
surrounded her
Razageth.
from the shadow.
It's like she's just an absolute insane, crazy bitch. And it's like, yeah, we got to get rid of her, man. Like, she's nuts.
Lands. She's planted it. It's been growing in the Emerald Dream, and it's about to cross over.
Uh-oh.
It's a very powerful tree. We're not the only ones interested in it.
Of course
Okay.
not.
So
Can't be that easy.
Of course not. No, it can't be that. It's never that easy. So turns out Farok's kind of interested in this tree, and he's got some friends that he's bringing along with him.
Right.
We finally enter the portal into the Emerald Dream. What does it look like? What can we expect?
First off, we're
Like
finally
every
going
other
to the
Emerald
Emerald Dream,
Dream.
right? And we've seen like bits and pieces of it since like what?
Yeah, since, I don't know, back in, you know,
Well,
the...
in Vanilla WoW, we had the Emerald Dream. There was like that other area, but it was like data mined, basically. And then you went to the Emerald Dream at the end of the Emerald Nightmare raid.
classic days when the game was first kind of released.
Druids. Yeah, with the Druids. And then I think more recently, the
Legion.
Emerald Nightmare raid back in Legion, right? But we've always visited these little pockets. And in Guardians of the Dream, we get to visit like an actual section of the dream. The Emerald Dream itself is a reflection of the wild world. So it's green, it's overgrown, it's beautiful, there's stuff blooming all over the place, but also we aren't the only ones interested in that tree. Farok is there, and he's got some allies
I wonder if we get to fly our dragons in there.
with him. So the place is, while part of it is, you know, overgrown, wild, beautiful, blooming.
How's he? I guess he's corrupted by the void. Is that right? Because it can't be the
He's
old
still
gods,
stuck
'cause we
on
got
the
rid of them.
corrupted.
So it's got to be just corrupted by the void, by shadow flame. What the fuck does shadow flame mean? How the fuck can you be corrupted by a certain kind of fire? He absorbed the shadow flame. It's void fire. Okay, so he's corrupted by the void. Okay.
So parts of it where Farok's
He's a
forces
corrupted
have
asshole.
hit this place. It's a war-torn landscape, right? It's not perfect. It's not ideal, but we're there to fix it and make sure that Farok doesn't get what he wants. If you are familiar with lore, we're going to the Eye of Ysera. And it's a place that has been mentioned in lore for a very long time. We've never been there. It's the center of the Emerald Dream. Not literally, figuratively. So the Eye of Ysera focuses on the areas of the dream that are, they need the most attention from the Green Dragonflight. And in Guardians of the Dream, it's Amirdrasil. Obviously, you know, we want to help bring this tree from the Emerald Dream into Azeroth.
The outdoor area that we have, you know,
So it's like Home Depot where they grow like a tree, and then like you take it from Home Depot and you put it in the backyard.
With our content update is just absolutely gorgeous. The art team has really outdone themselves yet again, and seeing the Emerald Dream in all of its glory, right? As players get to explore finally like an actual zone that represents sort of all of the incredible like sort of artistic influence of the Emerald Dream, and we're going to see tons of great characters that we kind of know and love that are related to the Emerald Dream itself.
So in this new zone, there's a new raid. Can you tell us more about the new raid?
Yeah, so one of the sort of war-torn places within the Emerald Dream is our new raid.
I think that I'd like actually if they had like more vibrant colors. I feel like the colors in WoW, like they feel like very washed out. You know, you go back and you see some of like the Cataclysm zones and like the original WoW zones, and they're very very vibrant. You know, like they're bleached. Yeah, it's like they left. It's like they left the Emerald Dream too long out in the sun.
Yggdrasil, the Dream's Hope. This is a 9-boss raid where players get to
shit reminds me a bit more of Shadowlands, unfortunately.
Explore one of the most interesting places within the Emerald Dream. The story here starts at Wellspring Temple, which is sort of a place within the Emerald Dream that's feeding Amirdrasil, this world tree, all of its kind of energy and life force. It's nurturing the tree. It's a very important place to Farak and his designs on the Emerald Dream and what he wants to sort of achieve here. One wing of the temple is untouched by Farak and his allies for now and represents sort of the wild nature of the Emerald Dream. There are defenders of the temple here who are natural to the dream, and one of those defenders is our wing boss for that section, Nimue.
I think this one looks really cool. Like, in my opinion, I think that they should have gone... I feel like the Emerald Dream just looks like... what was that forest zone in Legion? It was like not Valdrakken, Val'Sharah. Yeah, Val'Sharah. It just looks like Val'Sharah to me. Like, whenever I think of the Emerald Dream, you know what I would want to see? Pan's fucking Labyrinth. I want to see something that's a little bit more like a mixture between mysticism and grotesque. Ardenweald, I actually think Ardenweald hit the vibe check. Obviously, you know, I used to be an emo kid, right? Or a scene kid a little bit, right? Whenever I grew up. So my favorite zone was Revendreth. But objectively, Ardenweald was the best zone, and it wasn't even close. It was so fun. It was actually, I think it's probably in the top 10 zones of WoW. Like, unironically, it is in the top 10 zones of WoW. Maldraxxus was a piece of shit. It was a piece of shit. It was a microwave.
Maldraxxus was boring as fuck.
But I think the other 4 zones were incredible. And I think the color palette
I didn't like
Bastion
Bastion
was unique.
that much.
It was completely unique. Like,
Revendreth was really cool.
It was like Bastion before.
Ardenweald was really cool.
But Ardenweald just felt so much different than what we had seen before from like the druidic nature theme. And I feel like this doesn't really hit that vibe check. Like, again, I kind of wanted to see, you know, Pan's Labyrinth, kind of stuff like this. Like this. This is great. I love this. This is awesome.
So when players enter Nimue's chamber, it's this beautiful sanctum that really represents sort of the Emerald Dream in its most pure form. On the floor of the chamber.
And the reason why is I think that like a lot of people try to use the theme of like dark isn't actually evil. It's actually the light that can also be evil. But I think that a lot of times whenever you try to use that trope, it usually just comes off as being an allegory to religion.
I'm going to try to skip ahead a little bit because I want to see if they get to any of the actual points of 10.2.
And I see this all the time. Illidan breaking the equilibrium. And it's not that like one of them is the good side and everybody else is bad. It's that they had to exist in equilibrium. Right? Yeah, Cancer. Yeah, that's a good example. Yeah, chaotic good. Yeah.
When we defeated Thandral Staghelm. But they've been planning this kind of resurgence. And with the burning of Teldrassil, they've been able to recruit a lot more willing people to go along with their plans.
The exciting thing about this encounter is that finally we'll get to Dragon Ride within a raid encounter in Dragonflight.
Cool.
So this is an incredibly cool opportunity to be able to jump on Dragonback with, you know, all of your friends that you're raiding with and pursue Tendril as he sort of like flies around Amirdrasil, right? You're like banking through fireballs and stuff.
I'd be very upset if they end this expansion without us running down Galakrond. You know, I personally think that I've always thought that 40-man raids would be, they're much more cinematic in nature. And I kind of wish that they made raids easier and they just made them way fucking cooler. Because I could imagine, like, remember like the Legion event, for example? Remember the Legion event where you would go to the different areas and like everybody was on their mount? Like, dude, can you imagine like a 40-man raid on the dragon riding mounts trying to fucking harpoon down Galakrond? That'd be fucking badass.
Combat, so it's gonna be really exciting to see.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, visually it sounds really cool to have 25 people all mount up, but mechanically, we need people to test it out. We just need people to test it out.
Yeah, the PTR is so helpful for that.
It doesn't have to be hard.
And then, of course, I mean, we can't forget Farak. right?
Finally.
Yeah, the reason.
A spicy, nasty boy.
I'm ready to beat him up.
He's here in the Emerald Dream, and the raid will end with a showdown against, the Fire Incarnate himself.
Is there any like juicy rewards in the raid?
Yeah. So much as in other raids for during Dragonflight, players.
So either Asmon's gonna like go all in. It's like, I need to do this, or he's gonna like, this is bullshit. That sucks.
Can expect some new armor sets that they can earn.
Oh, I like this. Is this the undead only set? It's a DK set? Oh, I might come back to the game then. This is really cool. Yeah, I really like this. This is actually fucking badass. Like, this is fucking stupid. But that's even cool. Like the helmet, they've never done something like this before. Oh, they have, but still, it looks really cool.
Right, that are
I
sort
love
of
that.
class themed, but also have a touch sets that they can earn. Right, that are.
Is this Paladin? I bet that would probably look really good on like a male Paladin. I think on human Paladin, like the human female Paladin, like some of the pieces are a little bit awkward, but otherwise that looks great. And I like that they're actually going with a big hat this time. We don't really have as many big hat.
Let's be honest. The only reason why I want to even play this at this point is if they've got new pets I can tame. I'm the hunter.
Transmogs, you compare that to like Final Fantasy, and like every black mage has a big black hat, I like that.
Sort of class themed, but also have a touch of the Emerald Dream to them, right?
They're beautiful.
Where's the warrior set?
The art is absolutely incredible for these new sets within the raid. So they can expect new sets to earn that'll each have, class bonuses on them.
Yeah.
Oh, is that the fucking Warlock set? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Holy fuck, that's badass. Oh my god.
Terrible color, but yeah, that's sharp looking.
That's actually really cool. What the fuck?
Oh, I see the hunter, I think.
Wow.
Hunter next time, I think.
Is this, what the fuck is this,
Hunter.
bro? Don't tell me this shit's the warrior set.
I don't think it's a warrior.
Don't fucking tell me this shit is this is not the warrior set, is it?
I think it's hunter.
It's the hunter set?
Yeah.
The hunters are so dumb, aren't they? They are so stupid.
Asmon, I'm gonna kick you in the balls, dude. Don't be dissing hunters, brother. Don't be doing it. Don't be doing it. I love you, but don't be doing it.
But man, look at this warlock set is fucking nuts. I love this. Oh my god. And I guess this is the monk set since it has the crane on it. Chi-G or whatever the fuck. Look at that. Shaman's crazy also. Really? Yeah, I'm really impressed. Personally, I like the Death Knight one the most. Because I see that Death Knight transmog, and I remember the true Death Knights. The Warcraft 2 hooded masks of terror. Do you know why, by the way?
Dude, yeah, that mask is like fire, dude. That is a nice set for you. I don't play my Death Knight that much anymore, but yeah.
The Dark Portal has Death Knights on the side of it. It's because Death Knights signified the horrors of the Horde. It signified their mastery not only over their surrounding, but over death itself. And that it was meant to instill terror in anyone nearby. And so whenever I see a set that reminds me of the old original Death Knights, the Terran Gorfiend Death Knights, I like it.
I'm really excited to get my hands on them for my characters.
I love collecting the sets too.
Yeah.
They're going to show the warrior set.
Hands on something.
Yes.
Farok's got something really tasty for us to get our hands on.
We have a new legendary weapon coming in Guardians of the Dream. This is going to be a two-handed axe that players can earn. They'll have.
Yeah, we'll play this game. I think this is, we will do this.
What'd I tell you?
This seems like a good idea. It's a real legendary. Look at that. Yeah, this is all right. That's Shadowmourne recolored. That's fine. Doesn't matter to me. And you are right.
Just show me a fucking cool bow.
I don't care.
Fuck your axe. Give me a cool bow.
So, okay. Why is it that we're holding it here? What's this for? What's this? What are you trying to bunt a fucking a baseball? It's too heavy for balance? What do you mean it's too heavy? I just defeated a fucking dragon. No. Center of mass? That's not even a center of mass. I guarantee you the center of mass for this is probably, we'll see what happens.
To keep their ear to the ground exactly on how to get their hands on it. But yeah, it's a really powerful weapon wielded by Farak himself. It's called Firlath the Dream Render.
That's cool.
Dude, that's is that his like fighting form? That is fucking amazing. For like a villain, dude, that is nasty sweet, dude.
We've been listening to feedback from the Embers of Neltharion update, and you know, we hope we can provide something that, you know, players really feel like they can earn the axe over time and feel really rewarded for their time in the raid.
So we've spoke about the amazing raid and the beautiful zone of the Emerald Dream. What other things can we expect in Guardians of the Dream?
So we've got something really unique coming to Guardians of the Dream.
What's that?
It's not just one public event,
Moon
it's
Boys?
3 of them. And they feed into each other in this kind of cyclical sort of wilderness nature kind of thing. There's 3 different events. First one is the Super Bloom. And that one is, if you've ever played Overwatch, it's like protecting the payload, right? Okay, so you've got this ancient who's going through and he's trying to, you know, bloom the dream, and you have to help him out by defending him from things and helping him get things, that kind of stuff. When that's done, it triggers the second public event called...
I have to admit, dude, like whenever we had these things in past expansions for World of Warcraft, I hate that. Like the quest to do that shit, I hated it. So fucking tedious, man. So tedious.
Called the Emerald Frenzy. And it's a farming kind of public event where wilderness has kind of gotten out of control. So you go through, you're farming everything, and it's dropping currency, it's dropping seeds left and right. The more people that are in it, the more stuff you get, and it's just a grab. So that feeds into the Emerald Bounty. And with the Emerald Bounty, it's a fostering event, right? So all around the Emerald Dream, there's piles of dirt. You can take those seeds that you gathered and plant them in the dirt. Over the course of 5 minutes, it'll grow into a sprout. And the more people that show up and feed that sprout and nurture that sprout, the bigger it'll get. When it blooms after that 5 minutes...
So it's like that cooking thing in with the walruses?
Yeah, yeah, the chef.
You get to loot it for cool stuff.
I love cool stuff. Can you tell us more about the new Renown faction in this patch?
Of course. We've got the Dream Wardens. I mean, we're going into the Emerald Dream, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the Emerald Dream is full of creatures that live there. And they also have a vested interest in protecting Amirdrasil. So they've decided to go ahead and team up with us. But it's composed of those creatures from the Emerald Dream. So you've got keepers, you've got dryads, you've got druids, obviously. You've got
There's a Moon Boy village? Holy shit!
Moonkin.
Look at them all.
Obviously, you've got the green dragonflight. You've got rune bears. They're new. They're very cool.
Yeah.
And they've all come together to just kind of like help us out. And obviously, as with any renown that we've got, there are some really cool rewards involved as you increase your reputation with these guys.
That's cool.
I need to level my druid alt.
I like that. That's cool.
For this, because it's druid heaven.
Yes, druid heaven.
Anne and I both played druids, you know, way back in 2004. So I think we're particularly excited to interact with this faction. I think we've never seen before in WoW these like types of characters that are really reminiscent of like Warcraft 3 and like Night Elf and druid lore. So it's going to be very exciting to interact with a lot of those creatures and characters that I associate with like, my first character.
It's all about the horde.
So as we're dragon riding...
What the fuck is this?
Through this new zone, is there new dragon riding anything?
Yeah, absolutely. So players will be able to dragon ride through the Emerald Dream from day one, which is really a treat with all the incredible art that is within the zone just in itself.
You want to walk that zone.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I want to swoop under branches and like, you know, along the rivers and through that environment. They're also going to be able to collect new glyphs that are hidden around the zone and some new transmog appearances.
Oh, that's cool. They have these are nether drakes. I read.
Yeah, I need to. That's one thing I wish I'd done more in Dragonflight was get more of the transmog stuff. But yeah, I didn't really research how to get a lot of them. I know some were through boss fights and raiding and dungeons. I didn't do a lot of that at all in Dragonflight, just because I was busy running around doing all the other shit. I did think the profession stuff was cool. Like you could get in there, create stuff, and then sell it to other players, and vice versa. Have them make stuff for you with the materials you brought them. I was able to upgrade some of my characters doing that, which was kind of cool. So that was a cool feature.
It's something about them adding nether drakes back. Oh, that looks pretty nice. This is the one that I got, by the way. All those years ago, I got the Onyx Netherwing Drake.
Yeah. Who cares?
Appearance and a new dragon riding mounts.
That's cool.
There's a lot there for players who are interested in dragon riding and have enjoyed that during Dragonflight.
I'm all about collecting customization, especially for my dragons, so I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, there's a lot there for
I remember I never wanted to customize my dragon because I just always assumed I'd get Gladiator, and then I didn't get Gladiator. So I'm just riding around on a piece of shit. Like, I don't have anything cool at all. Yeah, washed up. Well, maybe I can try to get... No, I can't, because like nobody plays PvP anymore.
Players who enjoy that. There's also a new active ability that players will be able to earn, with their glyphs called Second Wind, that allows them to sort of like regain vigor instantly.
Ooh.
So they can gain a little bit more speed. There's new dragon riding races where they can try to, try their skills at that with some of these new abilities that they'll earn. And yeah, we're just excited to see how players enjoy zooming through the skies in the Emerald Dream itself.
That sounds handy for that dragon riding encounter too.
Yes.
So you may want to collect your glyphs right away.
Practice. Just practice.
Yeah, get some practice in.
It's just like the phone game advertisement logic where they have the person that's playing the game do something obviously fucking stupid, like run directly through the fireball, just to like entice people to play. So they're like, oh, I could do it better.
And there's going to be a new season. Can you tell us more about what the season will be?
Yeah, absolutely. So Season 3 will start with Guardians of the Dream, and with it becomes a new Mythic Plus map pool. So we have 8 new dungeons that are arriving for players to...
Throne of the Tide. So that's interesting. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Black Rook Hold. Oh, fuck. Remember that? Remember people getting hit by the boulders?
I remember Everblue, man. That shit was nasty too for a while.
That are appearing for the first time in Mythic Plus that we're really excited about.
Yeah,
we had our Mega Dungeon, that players have really been enjoying from the Dawn of the Infinite update.
I never did
and we're splitting that into 2 separate dungeons for players to enjoy in Mythic Plus. We also have 2 dungeons included in the map pool that really fit the theme of the wild nature of the Emerald Dream. The first is the Everblue, which we last saw sort of in a challenge mode format. And the second...
I actually really liked this dungeon. I thought this dungeon was great. It was kind of sad to me that the dungeon... I wish this dungeon had better bonus objectives. I wish that every Mythic Plus dungeon didn't have the same goals. I don't know. Like, it's like a weird way to look at it, but like, I wish that there were like different ways to do them. Should be fit. Skip got fit.
That are more open, like Ataldazar, in Waycrest Manor in a way, to try to, keep some variety in there, and players who enjoy routing can have some options, to really like sink their teeth into.
There's going to be, of course, Mythic Plus new rewards.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where's the new mount
for the new season?
Yeah, there'll be a new season of PvP rewards.
Where's the new mount?
So new cosmetic rewards.
The priest one looks pretty cool. This looks stupid though. Who would wear this fucking helmet? Bro, this looks like the
you would.
This looks like the Juggernaut from like
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
X-Men, but like dumber. It's not Warrior.
It's in arenas.
So work on your Gladiator when it comes out. Get that fancy new mount.
I'm gonna get this one for sure this time, guys. Hey, this one, it's gonna happen for sure. First month of the season, we're gonna get
Pete's Dragon right there, baby. Pete's Dragon.
Gladiator this time.
Sure,
yes. So everyone wants to know, when is the PTR going to happen?
Yeah, so the PTR will be coming this week. We'll be on the PTR, Ann and I will be running around, and we would like to see players in there with us enjoying the new content that we have.
Thank you both so much for hanging out and talking about Guardians of the Dream with me. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
I'm just disappointed that they went with the art direction with the Emerald Dream.
Okay, so we got a little bit of a look here to see what's going on, even though that wasn't really bad per se. Like, it had some positive things about World of Warcraft coming up. That's going to happen. But obviously, the other things I showed with the patch notes regarding the gear and stuff is not, it's like both good and bad, but it's like right in the middle. So, yeah, so not as bad as we might think it'd be, but it depends on what happens when it gets released. Because, like, I'll probably definitely be playing a little bit, but I'll probably be watching a lot of Asmongold stuff if he gets back into it, just to see how he's liking it and whatnot. Usually he only does stuff that's raid or dungeon related, so depending on like how far along he is in that, like I don't think you have to level in that at all. It's just you go in and do it, right? Maybe it's leveling, I don't know. Have to go back and read some more on it. But the next subject I want to get to is basically the ugly. And I don't know like a massive amount about this lady or this chick. Her name is Nadia Amine. She's a streamer on Twitch. She kind of made a name for herself, basically playing Call of Duty and Warzone. Was apparently pretty good. Really made a name for herself. Was entertaining enough for people. Recently, within the past year, she got caught cheating online. First, it started out where somebody was watching her stream and called her a cheater. So what she did was she basically went and doxed the person that called her cheating. Like, so she already made like, see, it says here in December 2022, Nadia was accused of doxing a viewer and got banned for 2 weeks on Twitch in the same month. However, she was unbanned only a few hours after. It was later discovered that Nadia trash talked people on stream. People then argued that if she trash talks people on stream, she shouldn't overreact or dox people when she gets the same amount of hate. The other clip of her doxing in another video was brought to light by Lanza in his recent video, then calling her a piece of shit. So basically, this is the first interesting thing, because someone accused her of cheating, using a hack for Call of Duty or whatever, which made you auto-target, made you also see through walls. Apparently, if you're someone, I've never played those games, but apparently if you were someone who was really familiar with those games, you knew that she was using some sort of hack, which is, it's more of a no-no, I think, with people who are being sponsored by gaming companies like Activision, Blizzard, or whatever. Like, you don't do that, right? And especially if you end up getting invited to events to represent those companies by playing the game or whatever, which we'll get to in a minute. She had another moment where she went to, and we'll probably get to the video, because she ended up going to an event for Activision as a guest, and this was a while back. And while she was there, she didn't have her hacks, and so she wasn't playing the game very well. She wasn't doing very well. And then something happened where she shut down her computer or something, and was doing something to her computer, and the officials, refs, and like people who were in charge of the event like came to see what was going on with her computer. And I don't know if they were caught her actually installing the cheat hacks or not, but that was the implication. Maybe Activision wasn't gonna like say it outright, I don't know. But anyway, it was a bad thing. Nadia got booted from the event. She then like started getting a lot of like grief from people hating on her about the cheating, which, look, man, you reap what you sow, right? Like, if they're gonna do shit and like get caught doing it and then try to lie about it, you're gonna get called out. It's just how it goes. So she ended up doing like basically, which is an OnlyFans. Like, she's not an unattractive chick, right? But she starts doing OnlyFans and doing bikini pics and like just random videos. There's actually one where she apparently shits in a pool, like it's a pool full of ice. So I don't know if there's like some sort of challenge they were doing, but she got in and like immediately shat herself. So that's a funny video, by the way, if you ever go check it out, because it's hard to believe, but yeah, but it can happen to the best of us, right? But anyway, she starts doing these OnlyFans and the bikini stuff, and that's all fine and well. That's she's entitled to do that. So then the next time around, when Activision is doing another Call of Duty event, they don't invite her. And what the reason that Activision said was because they didn't agree with her doing adult content, right? Now, I don't know, like when it comes to the history of gamers and being invited to events and stuff, like Emma Rath is one of the biggest female streamers you'll have out there, mainly because she does have an OnlyFans. She plays games in a bikini, gets into a hot tub. She's very charismatic. She's great. I've never seen any of the stuff that she does behind the scenes in OnlyFans. Like it's a lot more adult. So I don't know if she's ever been invited to events to play games. Like I don't know if they consider her a really good gamer or not. I don't know. Maybe that gaming part is just secondary to all her other stuff, which might be the case. But Nadia tried to like point to a couple of instances where some guys were doing some stupid off the wall things, and she was trying to compare that to what she was doing with her OnlyFans, and like the stuff that she was comparing just wasn't on that level. Like, and to me, bikini stuff isn't that bad anyway. Like, I don't know why Activision would even give a shit at that point. But since gaming in general is a kid's thing, like even though we have a lot of adults playing it, it is a kid's thing. So you have a lot of kids who tune into stuff. So maybe that's one of the reasons for Activision's not bringing her in, so that it wouldn't draw that kind of attention to that type of content. But I like to think that maybe it's more just due to they don't trust her to not cheat. Like, I think that I don't think they want to acknowledge it because maybe they've had issues in the past with that, and they don't want to be frowned upon that she was representing Activision while cheating. So I think some of that might actually have to do more with it than the bikini stuff. The bikini stuff, though, made it easier for Activision just to say, "Yep, yeah, we can't have you here. It's not kid friendly," So let's go ahead. We're going to check out a video here by, what is this guy? I don't know his name offhand. I'll definitely link it in when I do into the description when we talk about it, when I post it. So, but he's going to kind of expand on the whole like Nadia cheating and basically how she got caught.
What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the Triple B News channel. Today we've got Nadia fully explaining as to why she believes she was not invited to the Modern Warfare 3 COD Next event. So let's crack on with the news. During a recent live stream, Nadia was actually willing to talk about the reason she believes she was not invited to the new COD Next event that is occurring this year. Unfortunately, though, it doesn't seem to be the case, but Nadia seems to think that because she decided to argue the toss over whether or not slide cancelling was coming back into Call of Duty, that is why she was not invited to the event. So we've got a full video of this moment where she explains herself. Let's check it out.
So when they were doing like the slideshow of Vondel and they were, telling us about the new update, one of the key points that they, like the patch note said, was movement changes. Okay, like it was very vague. Movement changes, okay? So that like after they're done with the prompt, they asked the creators if we have any questions, and I asked them if there's going to be any slide canceling, because I think slide canceling is really prominent to the game, and that's what blew up the game, right? And they were like, they gave the the generic answer, we don't know, just wait till the new season drops. And you'll see what the movement's like. And I was like, yeah, but like you guys always say this, and I think slide canceling should come back because it's really important. And then Iceman Isaac, kind of backed me up a little bit. And he's like, yeah, this is the reason why, MW 2019 did a lot better than this one. And then that kind of, made Call of Duty upset because I also backed that up and I was like, yeah, like my TikTok movement and all that. Like you don't see TikToks about the newest Call of Duty. And then, you know, Rob wasn't too happy about that. He's like, well, someone that works at Activision. And he was like, that's not true. We actually just looked at the TikTok analytics and content analytics, and the newest game is doing just as good content wise as the old game. And I was like, no, it's not. Even Courage tweeted about it. And he's like, well, back then, you know, it was kind of hyped up because of the pandemic. And I was like last year when I blew up, like that, the pandemic was, you know, over. It wasn't even considered a pandemic. Like that's not true. And, you know, kind of go a little bit went back and forth. And I was like, I think that's just a very predominant thing to have in the game. It helped a lot of content creators out. Movement was really important. And Rob was just basically saying, no, the content's doing this just as good, even better with the newest game. And I was like, okay, right. It was a little bit back and forth. Mostly between me and Rob. Iceman just said, you know, he thinks that it was really important to have, and that's why MW 2019 did really good. But it was mostly me and Rob going back and forth, right? So that happened. And I see that, you know, there's like everyone's getting, you know, invites out to the newest game. So I messaged Shanice and I was like, why am I being blackballed? You know, like, I don't understand. I noticed when I was getting blackballed, and when I went to that Vondel event, I told, you know, Call of Duty that I noticed it when I kissed Azra, specifically. And then after that, they really didn't invite me out much. And they told me that's not true, that's not the reason. They said because I wasn't playing Call of Duty, but I was playing Call of Duty back then. I was playing Call of Duty with Chris Brown. I don't know if you guys remember, but I was playing Call of Duty with Chris Brown. So like I was playing Call of Duty. So that happened, and they were like, okay, well, that's when they went to the Vondel event, and they're like, that's not true. And then after the Vondel event, I saw a bunch of people getting invited. So I was like, what's going on? I thought you guys would tap me in. And then I was like, I honestly think it's because of the fan house stuff in Azra. And they called me and they were like, that's not true. We're not inviting you because of the little like back and forth we had about movement, which I didn't really even think was a big deal. And they were telling me that they asked for opinions afterwards. They asked for questions. They also asked for the feedback. It's like they didn't even want to hear negative feedback, but I didn't even say it in a rude way. I was just saying that it's really predominant to have in the game. And I wasn't the only one saying it. You know, there was another creator backing it up who I'm pretty sure got invited.
Honestly, it just seems like she's making excuses. I think we all deep down know why she wasn't invited, and I think that Nadia herself understands why she wasn't invited back. After the way she acted whilst at the COD Next event last time, it would appear that maybe they thought this is too toxic. Maybe they understand the way she actually built a name for herself in Call of Duty. Maybe they realized she was cheating. Maybe they realized that she did not perform in any way, shape or form at the level she does when she's in the comfort of her own home. Maybe they got annoyed at the fact she kept mentioning cheat, foot pedals and Cronus whilst at the event last time. But either way, she believes it's about the fact she brought up slide cancelling and had a little bit of a debate with them. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Do you believe Nadia wasn't invited back because she brought up the slide cancelling discussion? Let me know. And if you did enjoy today's news, guys, smash that thumbs up and give the video a share. It helps massively. If you're new to the channel, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss tomorrow's news.
So yeah, he didn't really show any of the clips of her actually being caught cheating, but those video clips are out there. Other YouTube creators have done reactions and discussions on her being caught at the event for Activision, where like I don't know like what the expectations are when you show up to an event. There have been people saying that, well, it's not unheard of for a gamer to not perform well, like, you know, but apparently she had gone from being like super great while she's in her own home to not being able to hit a single thing while at the event. So the drastic change in how her play was so wide that they had to pull her out of there, like, and especially when she turned her machine off, like, which they felt the rumor was that she was trying to install the hacks for the game itself so that she can get back to auto shooting and stuff like that, because people have gone and looked back her old videos where she was in her own house, in her own room and whatnot, and they just could tell. They pointed out certain points of the game where she's playing where they say, yeah, see, it's auto shooting here, and you can see people behind the wall. That's not supposed to happen. I think there was one point where she was with some other players and they were, fighting against some other players, and she was able to find certain enemy players that you wouldn't normally find right away like she did. So there had to be like a hack to tip her off. Or I think maybe it was also people might have been texting her, watching the streams or whatever, and texting her like where their locations were. Like it's a big mess. And part of what adds to a lot of this is at one point, like it's kind of funny because one point Nadia says that she didn't cheat. And then it's kind of like she used it, all the hatred and the anger and vitriol coming about the cheating at her to a point where she's like running with it. She's using like, all publicity is, no publicity is bad publicity. Basically what the mantra is for her. So she just takes it and uses it to try to keep branding herself. So I don't know if that was a smart move, because if you're somebody who enjoys gaming and you're trying to get back into good graces, if possible, with any gaming company that might want to sponsor you, because she has followers, whatever, for her channel or whatever, and if a gaming company thinks you can bring in revenue that way, then that's, you'd be an option. But if you're somebody that's proudly going to wear that you cheat at gaming, they're not going to do that. Like, it's just not going to happen. So it's really kind of a big mess in terms of like how she conducts herself and how she's handled this whole thing. And she's even tried to go down the, like, everyone's being sexist about it. It's like, no, you're not. No one's being sexist about it. Like, we would call it anybody doing the same shit. And I've seen videos of guys, YouTubers covering guys that cheat in games. And funny enough, I've seen a couple of friends of hers that are guys that were caught cheating and were removed also. So not from the same event, but just in general, like they've been called out about their cheating. So it seems to be running rampant with her little circle there. And that's unfortunate. And then when you have even guys like Asmongold saying, you know what, you're not a very good person, at least in terms of like how you're playing the games and what you did was wrong. I think it's just, in the end, she needs to just come forward and like own up to the fact that she was cheating. And then if you got to go prove yourself, then go prove yourself. If you feel like she obviously feels like she can play the game well enough, then go and prove it. Don't use the hacks. Get in there, play the game, Warzone or whatever, or even any game. Like, go back to any of the game that you think that you're good at and prove yourself. Don't rely on these things. Obviously, I don't know her from a hole in the wall, but, when I was watching the feed of the things and people were explaining why this is cheating and what this is all about, then I have to kind of take it for what I see on the video, because that's facts, right? That's evidence. So you can tell me one thing, but when the evidence is showing something different, then that's a big problem. So anyway, that's my video for today. Just kind of like all over the place. Wanted to talk about a few different things, but didn't expect to spend as much time on the first portion. Thought I'd be talking more in this last portion, but really, it's all good. You guys, I'll put the information that you need in the description, and you can kind of search out any more information on this stuff that you want, or check out the videos in full if you want to go do that as well. But again, thank you as always for supporting the channel. Please hit the like button and subscribe. Later this week, tomorrow, Neko and I will be doing a trailer reaction for the new Godzilla series coming out on Apple, as well as a new metal box unboxing that we're going to do. And then, let's see, Friday, I've got a review for Wolf Hollow with the big bad wolf himself, John. Petrosky. And then Saturday, Neko and I will again finish up my top 50 movies of the 21st century. And we were down to the last 10. And we're going to go through that and just talk about why I feel like those are my favorite 10 of the whole 50. Like, we're going to count down the ones we've already done. We've done 4 other episodes by 10 discussing the movies I put in there. She's disagreed with me on some and confused about others, and then agreed on me on some other ones. So we'll see how she feels about my last 10. Anyway, thanks all for tuning in, checking this out. Keep it metal. Talk at you later. Enjoy the rest of your day.